MVP is where we start because this is what's interesting, and we mentioned it to each other during the break. Highest ticket percentage, highest handle percentage, odds leader right now at BetMGM, Patrick Mahomes. 15% of the tickets, 17% of the handle. He's 6-1. Short number to win NFL MVP. The biggest liability at the book, though, Joe, Caleb Williams. And you said he's 80-1 right now?
80-1. Yeah, BetMGM. I see a 50 out there, ridiculously short. A rookie to win the MVP. So obviously also winning a bunch of other awards. It's laughable. I'm not surprised. So liability, you get to this number quickly. So earlier, before the draft, it was over 100. So you get a few of those bets. You get a rabid fan base. BetMGM legal here in Illinois. Yeah, Bears fans are they're all in on Caleb. They're going to bet him for everything. Yeah, so ton of bets coming in. The MVP one is just a joke. Like, if Stroud's not even in that conversation last year, how's Caleb Williams going to be in this conversation next year?
Right.
Exactly. And I can't believe Stroud is inside double digits already. There's about 5 guys that I feel like the number is so short. I guess taking a quick look, Brock Purdy's kind of intriguing. 18-1.
It's the Stroud number's ridiculously short, correct. But I'm also not surprised. When the season ended, we're like, okay, 2 very popular MVP bets. People want to bet on the young guy up and coming, and they want to call it right on the year that it happens.
Yeah.
Stroud, at BetMGM, he's the second favorite with Josh Allen. I repeat, he has the same number as Josh Allen going into year number 2. The other one, Jordan Love's going to be popular. People bought in the second half. People bought in. And if you think the Packers are going to be good, I can see that happening for sure. Where's the value? I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it.
There's nothing.
With everybody gone, if Allen has a great year, sure, he could win. But I feel like I say that every year. If Burrow stays healthy, sure, he could win. It would be tough for Lamar to do this again. Hurts slid back a little bit. How much is Herbert going to be throwing the ball now? I don't know.
That's a great point. I do think there's a little bit of value on, and this is going to happen. We're all gonna somehow try to make sense of this, and we're going to talk ourselves into it, like you said, Joe. Jordan Love at like 14-15-1 with a second place NFC schedule, and things may be coming together for the Packers. He looking the way he did down the stretch. I mean, you could definitely see the Packers winning the NFC North, and if they go on a run, I mean, that's you win 12 games, 12-5. Jordan Love's the quarterback and puts up numbers. Aaron?
I don't know. Niners are the favorite to win the Super Bowl, and Brock Purdy was in the conversation last year. 18-1 is even better value than Love.
Tua, 25?
Yeah.
Maybe? I wouldn't make a bet.
I like the Eagles. I bet them last year to win the division. It's hard to ask me because I'm just going to want to fade the Cowboys and have nothing positive to say about it. Just ask Joe. Now, the Commanders is intriguing. I do think at 10-1, could they take this giant leap? I mean, things would have to massively fall apart for both the Cowboys and Eagles for that to happen. But I would look at the Commanders more than I would the Giants, Joe.
Well, the interesting part is Chris went over the prices, and anywhere you look, everybody has this as a 2-tier division. There's 2 teams that can win it, and then there's 2 long shots. And they have the exact same price for the 2 teams that could win it in Dallas and Philadelphia. Well, the one thing we know about this division is what? It's never the same team 2 years in a row. So does that tell us that we just have to take Philadelphia this year since Dallas, it was their turn to win the division last season? But yeah, both of them, I know we all laugh at Jerry and all that, but both teams at the top had really strong drafts because that's what they do every single year. And just with Roseman, the draft fell to him, and he took advantage of what was on the board for him. a lot of times the same people that say, "Oh, you got to go best player available, they will also torch you if you don't draft your biggest needs. So I think it's funny with some of the draft coverage, like people don't pick a lane. They're like, yeah, take best player available, but take the best player available at the positions that you need the most. I think that's what the Eagles did. And they arguably did take the best player available, and they just happened to be their biggest weaknesses. I think they're going to take huge strides forward. And let's also remember that they upgraded in coaching too. Like their defensive coordinator last year that was on the outs at the start of the season, there was a big upgrade they made in the offseason. Talent, a big upgrade. Hurts took a step back. I think he's going to be closer to what he was a year ago. Not saying he's going to repeat it, but closer. The receivers are now happy. They're getting paid. I think things are early on. I was like, boy, I don't like the way this Eagles thing is trending, but by their actions, maybe it isn't going to be terrible.
I can't imagine it's anybody else, really. I mean, the only team you could talk yourself into would be the Chargers, and we've done that before, haven't we? Every year, here come the Chargers. And with the Chargers, real quick, I'll get to the Chiefs. But I just think with Jim Harbaugh, he's a great coach. We all know that. But when you've been gone out of the NFL for 9 years, that's like 3 lifetimes in the NFL. Think about how much has changed in the NFL in the 9 years he was gone. It's just going to take an adjustment. And look, that roster isn't as good as we all think it is. We all talk ourselves into that roster every year, and it's just there's a reason that they were 5-12 last year. I don't see them as contenders to the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs win that division by 3-4 games again. It's just kind of how it's going to be. But the Chiefs have bigger goals to just win the AFC West again, obviously. And what they did in the draft, I thought I gave them an A. I thought that getting Xavier Worthy is not going to be for everybody, but the Chiefs are going to use him to the best of his ability. You combine a 4-2-1 guy with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and good things are going to happen. Like he's going to be a good player for them. I really like the tackle out of BYU, whose name I'm not going to try to pronounce off the top of my head in the second round. I thought he could have been a first-round pick. I just love what the Chiefs did. Their roster's set up really well. Like last year was the year to catch the Chiefs. That was not a good Chiefs team, period. Like it was good. It wasn't great. It was the worst of the Patrick Mahomes teams, and they still won a Super Bowl. And we're all going to forget the struggles they had and Patrick Mahomes yelling at the refs and being upset at his receivers and all that because they won the Super Bowl, got hot at the right time. But I think they're better now. I think they're better now than they were last year, and that's scary for the rest of the NFL. It's still hard to win a Super Bowl. A lot of things got to go well. A lot of things, you can't catch a wrong injury at the wrong time, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, you're like you said, 6-1. Like, I know it's chalky, but how can I say no? How can I sit here and tell you that that's a bad bet? Because the Chiefs just every single year figure out January and early February better than every other NFL team.
New York, there's a lot of things that you look at, like, yeah, big advantage, which is why you guys are so big on them to win the series. And even though Brunson has a lot of help, he's still going off himself. And you kind of don't talk about some of the depth that they do have. Look, I understand why it's hopping up. There are a number of reasons. Everything seems to be pointing in the Philadelphia direction, and now they have to go back on the road.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is a fight, though. You know, if this game comes down to the wire, I'm probably going to stay away from the side and maybe look at props. I do think the Knicks are the better team and the Sixers are dealing with a lot, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just give this one their all and it comes down to the last minute.
Total down to 202.5 now too, Joe. I think this is an underlook if you believe in the Knicks and you don't want to play a side or a total. Maybe that's the angle. The one game in this series that the Sixers have won did go over by a good number. Maybe that's your angle. I think if you like the Sixers, you're probably more liable to take the 4.5 or go money line. I think that might be my angle on this one is if the Knicks are going to close out the Sixers at home in Game 5 tonight, it's through a typical Knicks-type performance, defense and depth, and we get a low-scoring game, and we come under the 202.5.
Yeah, I can certainly see that. So the Brunson, what are his props? They've got to be just out of this world at this point.
33.5 points. It's not
oh my God.
really
I see 34.5.
Yeah.
Juice to the over at BetMGM. What?
Wow.
No, thanks. This is insane.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be
I
high.
was looking
but
at
That's ridiculous.
Anunoby over 13.5. It's -128. But I think he could get over that. He's been scoring a lot of points. His rebounds, he had, I think, 14 last game, but like
Yeah.
the 2 games before that I would stay away from because you
Yeah.
just don't know.
Okay, so I was actually thinking about Nick's props too. But one with rebounds that I would look at, or I'm just debating, do I go rebounds or do I go points and rebounds, is Hart.
Mhm.
I mean, it's been
Yeah.
ridiculous what he's been getting. What did he get? 17 rebounds the last game, I believe. So
It was a
somewhere
big
around there.
number. Yeah.
But he goes 0 for 7 from the field. Is that going to happen again? Probably not. So the points and rebounds is 26.5. If you just go rebounds, that's 11.5. He's been averaging 13 rebounds per game.